What's your IQ? You seem like a very, very intelligent man.
You did mention IQing up from 61 months ago.
So obviously you're smarter than me. Or is that right?
Our Einstein's IQ was 164.
Hey buddy, I'm Adam King, the King Source. Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking college football realignment. Remember, subscribe to the channels, YouTube and Rumble. Like videos, watch them all the way through. Really helps everything out. Now, I'm going to start by asking a question here. You can see all of the changes coming. Teams leaving independency, moving around from other conferences and such. And we already know Notre Dame at some point is going to be a full member of the ACC. The ACC is what I do not see pictured on here, but yeah, is what it is. But the question I have to ask, just to start out here, at what point does college athletics settle down to where we know no more realignment's coming? That has to happen. At what point does that happen? I don't think any of us have an answer to that, okay? I just don't think any of us have an answer. By the way, Mount West Conference isn't pictured here either. Keep that in mind. We know that has to happen at some point. Okay? What point is that? I think we're getting closer to that point, but we are not there yet. Now, so what currently is going on with realignment? Well, I've talked to chancellors and people with the ACC, including this guy, I can't remember his handle, but he knows a lot about expansion. And I do trust him. I've retweeted a lot of his stuff. Let me see if I can pull up one of my retweets, one of his, so I can give you his handle. He knows realignment. He's been ahead of everybody on realignment. It is MHVER3. MHVER3. He's a West Virginia fan and Michigan fan. And yeah, he's one you want to follow for this as well as mine. So follow him. So the current thing going on right now is Washington and Oregon, the Ducks and Huskies, have reached out to the Big 12 about joining the Big 12. They have asked for an out if the Big 10 comes calling. Big 10 does not come calling for them. Big 12 is telling them that. The Big 12 is very likely to add them. If they get them, they will add the Arizona schools and call it a day and be at 16. Okay? The Big 10 and SEC are about to be at 16. So if the Big 12 matches them at 16 by adding the Arizona schools along with Oregon and Washington, the Big 12 solidifies them by a wide margin. Solidifies themselves by a wide margin as the third best college athletics conference. It is not close either. Not close at all. The Pac-12 is in trouble. Okay? Now, back to the ACC. I kind of jumped topics there. With the ACC, I'm told they are so much more stable, it's not even funny. They're so much more stable than people think. It's not even funny. They are not just going to be falling apart. They've got an amazing TV deal with CBS and ESPN. They're fine. Teams aren't going to be jumping ship there. They're getting plenty of money. So don't expect anything with the ACC. Let's say add Notre Dame and another to get to 16. That's the one thing I can see happening. The other school, I have no clue who it would be. I've heard Army mentioned. I've heard Navy mentioned jumping over there. But that's about all I've heard, okay? They have talked to some remaining top American athletics schools, such as Navy at South Florida and Memphis. They are eyeing Memphis. I could see Memphis being the team that joins Notre Dame over there. Just saying. Anyways. A conference that will be jumping to 16 is the American Athletic Conference, by the way. Keep that in mind. They've added 6, so they actually could be at 17. Let me do the quick math on that. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There are 14 actually once they get the 6 in and after losing 3 to the Big 12. So I do expect Oregon and Washington in the Big 12 starting next year. The grant of rights is up, so they can just jump without penalty. I expect Arizona State as well. They're the Arizona schools. Where does this leave the rest of the Pac-12? Which would be 8 remaining schools. Well, basically, they're going to have to add 4 teams to the Mountain West or American Athletic, most likely Mountain West, which I've been told would be Boise State, Fresno State, San Diego State, and UNLV. That SMU is not going to be getting in to the Pac-12. The voting currently is Boise State has 8 votes. You need 9 to get in, mind you, of the remaining 10 Pac-12 schools. Actually, 8 to get in, I believe. I think it's 8 to get in. They want Boise State in there. They have talked to Gonzaga, so is the Big 12, about being a basketball-only member. I don't think it happens. It's just too hard to have a basketball-only member. Boise State, Fresno State, San Diego State both have 9 votes, so they're going to get in. The last one, I do believe, would be UNLV. Just the feel I'm getting. And the remaining Mountain West schools would then have to bond together and try to poach some other schools just to keep the Mountain West alive. I think the Mountain West is going to die, go extinct. As soon as they started playing games and letting TCU and Utah leave for no reason at all, or if they had kept TCU and Utah with Boise State and BYU, Mountain West would be one of the top conferences out there. They'd been able to keep their members. They started letting them leave without penalty. That started the death of the Mountain West. So I think that happens, and I think the remaining 8 schools actually do a merger with the Mountain West, just to keep the Pac-12 alive. They add about 6 or 4, as I mentioned, Mountain West schools. If they want to get really aggressive, really aggressive, they then go out and get Memphis as well, as SMU, and get to 14 schools. We'll see what happens. But this is just the latest I am told is Oregon and Washington are going to take the Arizona schools with them to the Big 12, and that'll get the Big 12 to 16 schools and match with the SEC and Big 10. And the remaining schools will start working with the Mountain West on a merger, because once the Big 12 takes their choice of 4 schools, we just talked about them, the Pac-12 is dead, unless they can add some and just get up to 14 or 16 schools somehow. And then they are pretty much a mid-major conference at that point. So the Pac-12's one is dead. The Big 12's as stable as it gets. The Big 12 is as stable as it gets. Trust me. So I think the Big 12 is going to be the 3rd best. They are the best basketball conference and the 3rd best football conference. The top 3 in both of those is the SEC, Big 10, and Big 12. The ACC is 4th on both those lists. The Pac-12 is a distant 5th. So, and actually they're 7th in basketball, the Pac-12. 5th in football, so. The latest is watch for Oregon and Washington to jump to the Big 12 with the Arizona schools, and then the Pac-12 go into panic mode with the Mountain West. That is the latest I am told to keep an eye on. Do not expect anything from the ACC. If anything with the ACC, they could reach out to Pac-12 schools to try to have a West Coast presence. To add schools, believe it or not. If anything with the ACC. No matter who the ACC adds from the Pac-12 after the Big 12 takes Oregon, Washington, and the Arizona schools, they're not going to match the Big 12. So I hope this kind of helps you know what's going on and what's coming. I do think stability is coming, but we're probably talking 2025 and beyond is when that finally settles in. But the King Source, have a great day, everybody. Remember, the King Source loves you.